Welcome everyone to the August 2022 games pickup video. I'm going to try to do this to the best of my ability. It's been a little bit of a rough couple days for me, but hopefully this video, as always, kicks me back into shape. Now, you guys saw the thumbnail. In the month of August, I picked up 24 games, which I think was the same thing I picked up in July, and we're going to get into them. It's kind of a mix of a whole bunch of different systems. I went back to getting a lot of, I guess you could say retro stuff now, classic stuff, and some interesting obscure titles. Like the first one we're going to talk about, which I swore was a GameStop exclusive, but I picked this up off Amazon, and it's called Edge of Eternity. Now this game I don't think got really good reviews. It kind of looks like a basic, old school Final Fantasy, but in 3D, turn-based RPG. It was very cheap. I've never heard of any of these publishers or developers that made this game, but as a JRPG fan, you know, it's worth picking up. But, speaking of JRPGs, there was a big one that came out in the month of August that I felt like I had to get just because it's a series I love. And if you've watched these videos, you guys know what I'm talking about already. Soul Hackers 2. Now, the original Soul Hackers came out on the Sega Saturn, only in Japan back in the mid-90s. It did get a re-release, I believe, on the DS. And this is, of course, a part of the Shin Megami Tensei series. I feel like this game might not get a wide print run, so I had to get it day one. And I'm looking forward to playing it. Another game I'm looking forward to playing, and I think a lot of people who's watching this video might have picked up this month, Tmnt, the Cowabunga collection. 13 classic Turtles games. I'm looking forward to playing this hella much because the arcade-style Turtle games were fantastic. From Turtles in Time, the arcade game, and all that. Look, I don't even know what I'm talking about with these because I haven't played many of them. But I've played Turtles in Times, and I'm very much excited to play Hyperstone Heist, which is kind of like the Genesis equivalent to it. And the only other game on here that I believe I've played is the NES version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, only because I bought it back in the day after AVGN reviewed it and told us how garbage it was, so I bought it on the Wii Virtual Console as one of my first Virtual Console games back in 2006, 2007. Fun fact there. But great value, 13 titles. I'm looking forward to playing these. Now, let's get into some Dreamcast games that I picked up. One of these I had never heard of. The other, I'm surprised I got at the price I did because it's kind of a cult classic. The first game we're going to talk about is Nightmare Creatures 2. I know nothing about this game, but people for some reason were comparing this online to a Souls game because of how hard it is. I don't know if that's even relatively true. It was a little bit on the expensive side, but I think I might enjoy this at some point. The other game I picked up is Shadow Man. I actually have played this a little bit. When I was younger, I played maybe 5 minutes of it. I forgot where. But I always said, I wanted to fully own this. And I know Limited Run came out with a version of this that was an HD remake not too long ago, or remaster. But I wanted the Dreamcast version because that's where I did first play this. Now, an obscure game I got, amongst others, that I had never heard of, but I got this on the Gamecube. It's called Freedom Fighters. Apparently this game is made by the same developers of Hitman, and is a team-based alternate history war game, so that's kind of cool. I haven't played it, as I haven't played any of these yet, but it does look like something I'm going to enjoy, and it was a Gamecube pickup. I like building the Gamecube collection. Then we have New Super Lucky's Tale. I got this brand new online for $10. This is a game that looks like it harpens back to the N64 style of platformers. I'm going to probably enjoy this because I love Banjo-Kazooie and it has that cutesiness to it. If you guys have played this, obviously, let me know how good it was. A game that I know many of you have probably played, that I finally put in the collection after a year, is Metroid Dread. I love Metroidvania style games, but unfortunately I've only really played them with the Castlevania games And like the spin-off games. I've never actually played a 2D style Metroid. I've played the Prime series, but it's going to be interesting for me to actually go back and, you know, play it in the series that basically started the style of gameplay that I know a lot of people who play this love. And we're going to talk about 2 Wii U games I got next. One of them, well, 2 of them, both of them, I didn't even know existed. And the first one is Snoopy's Grand Adventure. I got this for $5 off eBay. I have a friend actually at work who said he's played this and it's actually a fun platformer. It doesn't look super, like, intuitive. Obviously, this was definitely a kid's game. But, you know, for a game to add to the Wii U collection, it's probably not super long either. You know, couldn't go wrong. This game, I'm surprised I've never heard of, though. Because it is a mainline Nintendo game, and I had to ask another friend, and he said that it was a game that they never really publicly did any advertising for. And that's Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Now, to my knowledge, this is like a traditional Kirby 2D-ish platformer. Like I said, I had never heard of this. I'm surprised I didn't. I never even see this on like list of Wii U games to buy. So when this popped up on eBay, I thought for what I got it for, I wanted to add it to the collection. Now, this next game is a PC game. I did get 2 PC games this month, and that's not something I normally collect for, but this game is a game that I wanted because, one, it's kind of obscure. Now, this game was never officially released here in the States. It did get a Dreamcast released, only in Europe, and I think this PC version is like a European version as well. And it's a game called Evil Twin, Cypress Chronicles. Now, this game always looked like a really weird freaking platformer from when I've seen it on like obscure Dreamcast games. So I feel like this will be able to play on like a Windows PC without me having to, like, you know, continuously do like a swap disk for my Dreamcast. So it was probably going to be the easiest way to play it. And I don't know how popular this was on PC. It's actually hilarious to look at the recommended specs on this, knowing that you know, the max video card RAM that you need is like 32 megabytes, and we've come so far in 20 years. But this one is probably going to be a fun one to play. This next game, I played a bit of the PC version back in the day, but in the midst of loving the series, I had to get this for the Gamecube. And it's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now, I love the Harry Potter games. Goblet of Fire, though, call me a little rough around the edges, is my least favorite book, least favorite movie, and least favorite game. But Deathly Hallows Part 1 is very close on that, actually, in terms of the game. This is more of a mission-based game, if I remember, versus like an actual adventure Harry Potter game. But to get it on the GameCube, I feel like I'll give it another shot, maybe around Halloween time. But speaking of Harry Potter, I got another PC game, and it's the PC version of Prisoner of Azkaban. Now, the reason I wanted to get this is because early on in the Harry Potter series, from Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban, the console versions were completely different versions than the PC games. And for Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, the PC games are really, really fun, and I've never played the PC version of Prisoner of Azkaban. I have the GameCube version of it, but I definitely wanted to grab this and give it a shot because, you know, a whole different game than what I've played. And speaking of versions of a game that I would rather try to play this one on, got the Wii U version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Now, I have been holding off for years buying the Switch version of this only because they always sold it at full price. Now it's maybe $40, but getting the Wii U version, which is pretty much the same exact thing, was like $15. And got it at that price, so I figured I would finally get it and play it and hopefully enjoy it. Now, as everything is falling down, Fun fact, this is the second take of this video I've done, and the same thing happened in the first one, but I stopped it this time. So the last Wii U game I got is another one that seems a little bit of an obscure game, and that's Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams Director's Cut. Now, Gianna Sisters originally was a series that was like a bootleg Mario back on the NES, so it's cool to get like a new version of, like sealed version of this for the Wii U, which apparently came out in like 2014, I think this was. I don't know if it sold well, the fact that I was still readily available to get a sealed copy of it. But online, the reviews look cool, so I figured I might as well grab it and call it a day. Now, another kind of game that I felt like I wanted to get this month, it's not even because I played sports games, but it's kind of because of the thought behind it, is MLB The Show 2022, but for the Switch. Now, the reason I wanted this game, and only this game for the Switch, is because MLB The Show is traditionally a PlayStation-only game. It's made by PlayStation Studios. So I thought it would be really cool to have the first PlayStation Studios game on a Nintendo console, especially with the history between PlayStation and Nintendo. It's cool that this is now like a multi-plat. It's going to be weird seeing the PlayStation logo on my Switch. I'll probably play this a little bit because I heard this does have like a story mode, and I did always love baseball growing up because I played baseball. So maybe, hopefully, this will be a game I actually surprisingly enjoy. Now, another game I think I'm surprisingly going to enjoy is a game that I had always seen at GameStop pre-pandemic, and a part of me always wanted to buy it, but I never did, just for the sheer fact that I didn't know if it was going to be any good. I feel like this might be a sleeper hit. I know this is definitely a kid's game, but, you know, from seeing what I've purchased this month, I'm still kind of a giant child, aren't I? And that's Little Dragon's Cafe. Apparently in this game, you manage a cafe, you can explore a world, and you have a dragon you can fly around on. So in itself, it has like that JRPG kind of look to it in terms of the screenshots. So, sorry, not sorry, I finally had to pick this up. Another game I bought that I had never heard of, but apparently it's a really good game. It's called Disco Elysium. Never heard of this. Had to Google it. Apparently it's like a detective noir style kind of game, but it's gotten like 9s out of 10s a lot of places I look, so I had to kind of get it, especially because I love these type of games. So if you played this one too, let me know what you think. Going back to the Dreamcast, I picked up an RPG that I never also thought I was going to own, only because when I would look at it originally, the price was kind of behind or above my price point. And I know it's kind of a generic RPG, but it's Evolution 2. Now, Evolution 1 was one of the first Dreamcast games I got back in like 2004, and I beat it back in 2017 finally. So I figured, you know, maybe it was time to get Evolution 2 and actually throw it in the collection. Which is, you know, what I finally did. There's a game I said I was going to hold off on buying. It was a big release in July, and I think in the July video I said I was going to hold off on buying it, and then I kind of bought it like a week later. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, I still have to go through the definitive edition of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade X, which I have on the Wii U. I played and beat 2 when it first came out. I played Torna Country back in 2020. I said I was going to hold off. I lied to myself. I bought it. Another game that I didn't know if I really wanted. I played the original version of this game, and this is like the sequel to it. And that's NG. Now, the original version of this is Deathmark, which is like a... It's kind of like a visual novel, but with like puzzle solving elements and all that. Like, you're not just specifically reading the whole time. There are things to do, but it always had a very good story. I was told if you played the first game, you kind of know what to expect here, because not much has changed in terms of presentation. But I saw this on clearance. Brand new. Probably going to be one of my Halloween games as well. Now, before we get to the last two special games I got because of the rarity of them, picked up Shadow the Hedgehog for the Gamecube. This game is shooting up in price, and I have no idea why. I had the chance to buy this at points for like $5, and I just realized this isn't even like an official version of it. This is like legit the Hollywood Video version of this game. So that's kind of interesting in itself. I wonder if there's any like rarity to this. I mean, probably not, but I thought for the longest I never looked at the back. I thought this was like the regular Shadow the Hedgehog. It's actually kind of cool because there's like a control scheme on the back of this. Now, Shadow the Hedgehog, let's go into it. I never played. I kind of always wondered if I would like it, and then I finally had a chance to get it at a decent price compared to what it was actually going for, and it's probably because it's the Hollywood Video version, not the official version of the game. So this might even be like a bootleg cover as well. But, you know, the game itself is still Shadow the Hedgehog, so that's cool. Now, my last Dreamcast game that I picked up this month is a game everyone always says to try to get your hands on for the Dreamcast. It's shot up in price. And mine is actually kind of missing the full manual, but it does have like the cutout for it, because it looks like someone might have ripped the inside of the manual out. But it's Elemental Gimmick Gear. Now this is a very strange, apparently RPG-ish type game. I always held off on like even emulating this to try to see if it was any good, but people rave about this game. So I'm kind of happy to have it in the collection. Now the last game that I have here for this month is a TurboGrafx 16 game. Now you guys know in the month of July, if you saw that video, I picked up a lot of TurboGrafx games, but this game was one that I had been wanting to get my hands on for a hot minute, and I did. And it's Neutopia. Now, this game's a little bit obscure, but a lot of TurboGrafx games are. Neutopia, for those of you who don't know, is a Legend of Zelda clone that was made for the TurboGrafx, but in so many, or some ways from what I've read, it does some things better than the original Legend of Zelda, and there was a sequel to this as well. Now, collecting for the TurboGrafx is rough these days because prices have skyrocketed for games that are decent. So to get this for sub $100 was actually really cool. The Hue card still has like the protective sleeve and all that, so I am looking forward to playing this at some point. TurboGrafx games are also very interesting because they don't ever show anything on the back, so it's an interesting case. But those are my pickups for August. 24 games, whole lot of money, and you know, I'll eventually play these. But of course, guys, if you've played any of these games, leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. As always, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Stay happy, stay healthy. As always, take care of yourself. Game on, and enjoy yourselves. Have a good one. Bye.